So good evening, folks. Sorry for the couple-minute delay. Totally my fault. Before we start our meeting this evening, we're going to read a proclamation, and it's the Association of Early Childhood Educators of Newfoundland and Labrador. Proclamation of the Early Childhood Educators Week of 2022. Whereas the Association of Early Childhood Educators of Newfoundland and Labrador represent those working in childcare and related fields throughout the province, and whereas early childhood educators provide developmentally appropriate care and education to children from birth to age 12 in a variety of settings, and whereas such care and education fosters the social, emotional, cognitive, and physical growth and development of these children and supports families in a variety of ways, and whereas this support of children and families ensures the future health of our society, therefore, I hereby proclaim the week of May 29th to June 4th, 2022 as Provincial Early Childhood Educators Week in our community. I'll sign that. And I'd just like to say a special thank you to anyone who works in that field, because you are indeed providing a support to families that you can't measure. So I thank you very much. So I'll leave that with you. All right, perfect. We're good to go? All righty. All right, so good evening, folks. And I'd like now to call to order the 17th meeting of the 13th elected Town Council of Happy Valley-Goose Bay. We have on the phone this evening joining us Councillor Winters, who is back in town and recovering from surgery. So he's on the phone with us this evening. And I'd like to welcome those that are here in the chambers. The agenda's in front of you, so I would ask Council for a motion to adopt the agenda of our meeting this evening. All right, moved by Councillor Brumfield, seconded by Councillor Bennett. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor indicate with aye. Aye. Contrary-minded? All right, we've adopted our agenda for this evening. We do have some delegations. Yes, it's kind of exciting to see delegations in our council chamber. I'm going to ask the mayor. There is a policy in place for deputy mayor to read a couple of things. There is a policy that we have in terms of delegations. So she's going to read a couple of paragraphs of that policy. So if you, in your comments, you could adhere to those, that would be wonderful. Deputy Mayor Wallace.
Great, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming this evening. The Public Council meeting delegations, in accordance to creating a friendly and approachable environment for delegates to meet with the Council, it's recommended that the public of Happy Valley-Goose Bay, at the time of the notification, the delegation is given 10 minutes maximum to discuss their concerns or issues. After the presentation, the Mayor and Council members may ask questions or make comments on the information presented. In consideration for the length of council meetings, delegates may wish to bring forth their issues, concerns in a written request that includes the subject of the presentation, name and contact information for either the mayor, council member, or town manager to respond by a letter.
Okay, thank you, Deputy Mayor Wallace. Do we have an order of who wishes to go first? If not, I'll pick who's on our paper here first. All right, I see a finger pointing, so I'll ask, I have Meanie Woodward. So I'm going to ask Meanie if she'll go first. And I'll ask you just to state your name from the recording and the broadcast. So come to the podium, yep, and just state your name, and then we'll go ahead.
Meanie
Thanks
Woodward.
for coming. Yep.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to speak today. I don't speak at these forums often, so please excuse me if I'm not correct with my terminology or if I trip over my words, but I want you to know that my heart and my concern is in the right spot. I'm here to talk today of the dire situation that exists uptown at a hotel in our highest traffic area, next to our only set of working lights, where a large population of our transient and homeless population are sheltered. I am told that the government pays for the shelter up to sometimes as many as 38 people for an overflow situation. And I'm also told that there's still people being turned away. For full disclosure, I'd like to state that we own or operate businesses at 6 locations uptown, which are all in close proximity to the area which I wish to discuss. As a business person and as a member of the community, what I have witnessed and heard in the last month alone is nothing less than frightening. We are in a public crisis situation. RCMP, town constable, ambulances, to name a few, have become the norm. We have daily and nightly terror, and I'm told that it's expected to get worse. People intoxicated or under some substance or for some reason are seen beating people in plain sight. One woman was beaten on our back steps of Mom's Place just a few days ago, and because a fireman was on his way to work, reported it, and our town constable and RCMP showed up, and this action saved her life. Another guy seen knocked out in the middle of the traffic lights just a few weeks ago and then dragged back to the lab in for an ambulance to pick up. May not have been so lucky. I heard that he suffered brain injury. Others are seen falling down in the streets where oncoming traffic has to react quickly to prevent the loss of life. Irreparable damage to the victim and the driver are at stake. Staff calling me to ask for assistance to leave our buildings as intoxicated people are on the steps and they're scared. Staff telling me they are exposing themselves to them. Staff telling me people are spitting at them and using the bathroom on our property and wondering who's going to clean it up. Broken beer bottles in our commercial parking lots have become another norm, along with empty cases of beer bottles thrown over the property for us to clean up. Graffiti, along with damages to our building, is a constant and needing repairs. Hand sanitizer bottles everywhere, as we are told this is also being used as a substance to get high. And then I am perplexed as to why we put money into our bike trails and our walking trails when people are now scared to walk on them, and who cleans up the garbage every day? Okay, how do you not feel frustrated at this, and yes, even angry? And these are only a few examples. Can we say it's disgusting, it's ridiculous, it's disturbing, it's unreal? Well, we can. And we can also say, how can we help? How can we help fix this broken problem? Because we are only fooling ourselves if we think it's going to go away. It's getting worse. Then, as the anger passes, how can you not feel a very deep sadness for what's going on in our community? How did we get here? And what is our path forward? We need to find a solution. I have heard the issue being discussed both in public and private forums, all with discussions relating to treating the symptoms of this issue. More security, do more cleanup, better street lighting, cut more trees, build more fences, put up more cameras, have a larger police presence, and put thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars into Band-Aid solutions. It's not working. It is imperative to stop looking at this situation and only treating the symptoms, but rather we need to get to the root of the issue. The root which may be mental health, addictions, trauma, systemic racism, inadequate housing, economic barriers, PTSD, among other factors. The individuals which we are housing are no question our most vulnerable, and we are failing them. In turn, we are failing ourselves, and we are failing our community. We are not looking at the underlying issues, and we're not taking the proper steps to develop a sustainable system to protect them. Again, we are applying Band-Aid solutions that are simply not working. In actual fact, I believe through the way that we're dealing with the issues, we are creating a big divide in the community where we should be creating a unified front. We are housing the largest population of the most vulnerable population at our busiest commercial area and giving everyone a front row seat to watch their struggles on display. We are housing them where there are 8 bars with VLT games located, all within a 5-minute walking perimeter. And we blame them. It makes no sense to me. Actually, where the overflow is being sheltered, there's a bar and a VLT games right there on premise. We're not only feeding the addictions one may have, but for those who do not suffer from these addictions, or are recovering from them, they are sheltered in a place that tempts people daily. Very concerning and very scary. Do I recognize and support that a homeless shelter is very important? Absolutely. Do I recognize a person who is homeless may be suffering from many issues, as was previously noted? Absolutely. Do I understand the government is trying to give them shelter to keep them out of harm's way? I do. But I also believe that sheltering them in this area is not only putting them in harm's way, but also putting our general population in harm's way. If a driver hits and hurts someone, they may be traumatized forever. My son drives big trucks. They can't stop on a dime. You know, many times you see people swerving and calling there's somebody in the middle of the road. A major danger zone has been created. People are being seriously hurt, and most often it is our most vulnerable, the very ones we need to protect. Lives are being lost. People who do not know the situation just see this and get angry. People witnessing past opinions. They blame our most vulnerable because we have put them in these highly visible areas. They're not to blame, we are. We are creating the divide. Now, in moving from this immediate crisis, I want to speak on a decision that is pending from our town for discretionary use for assisted living 1 and 2 in this same problem area. How can we even consider putting our most vulnerable, again, the ones that need the most support, in an area surrounded by 8 bars? The people who live in assisted living quarters need to be in a safe, secure, peaceful environment. This is far from that. If that decision with respect to approve the discretionary use application that is currently in front of the council is approved, I believe our town will be rubber stamping permanency on a major problem. I believe people's lives will be at risk. And I would go as far as to say, I think it would be reckless. It will certainly not be in the best interest of the people who need the support, nor would be in the best interest of our community. The proposed designation will bring permanent problems. Safety for all our population must be a top priority. Let's invest in building systems to support and rehabilitate our most vulnerable with all stakeholders at this table. Let's get past the quick fixes in this broken system. Let's work together, and let's do it swiftly and for the betterment of everyone in our community. An action committee compiled of diverse community members is needed. These are suggestions only. I'm not here to tell you that I know what the solutions are, but I am available and open to be part of any solution, and I have some ideas that may help. We must move forward as a community to reduce homelessness and build a support network that works, and we have to do it now. Time is critical, but most importantly, so are the proper decisions ahead for all involved. In closing, I would like to thank you for your time and patience and listening to me. I have lots more that I can say, but I think I've made my point, so thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Woodward. We appreciate and understand how difficult it is. It's a difficult situation for everybody in town, and it impacts you greatly with your location. So I appreciate that. Is anybody anything there?
I'll just thank you for coming forward this evening.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing. Did you want to? Is it possible you could leave that letter with us?
It scribbles.
Okay. All right. No problem.
I can redo it.
If you have it available, if you'd send it in to the CAO, that would be wonderful.
I can.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, first delegation done. Stephanie? Okay. You can now that you're at your microphone.
Okay. Hi, I'm Stephanie Normore. I've lived in Goose Bay since 1997. I've been a taxpayer since 1997, but I'm here today to represent my employer, Woodward's Oil. As everyone here is well aware, there is certainly a problem with the transient population. We have 2 gas stations, one in the downtown area right across the street from the liquor store, one in the uptown right across from the Lavender Inn. We see everything from chronic public intoxication to panhandling to loitering to public displays of sexual activities, urinating, defecating in public, trespassing, shoplifting, drug dealing, mental illness, cursing and swearing in the presence of children, threats to staff, to customers. We see all of that. To my knowledge, all those things are criminal. That's a crime, so we make a conscious effort to call the RCMP, the community constable. We call him all the time. Maybe not so much, because in some ways I almost feel defeated, because nothing ever happens. We call, they come, they take them, they don't, they leave them, they go. But they always come back, and they continue to do that. We have a property now on Broomfield Street. It's the old Headland property. I was down there today. That is a dump. It is completely full of litter. It's like the only way to clean it up is going to be to go in there with a dump truck and a loader and take it out of there. There's no other way to clean it up. It's an absolute mess. And we're going to do our part. We're going to continue the chain link fence that we installed last year and completely enclose that property. So completely enclosing that property means that now you're going to have snow machines on the road, because we left that open so that a snow machine could safely cross over to the gas station to get gas. I know they're not supposed to do that. However, they do it. And we're just trying to do our part to have a safe facility so people could avail of getting fuel. I don't have the answers. I don't know what the answers are. I do know that as a citizen of this community, I want to live in a safe place. I do not feel safe in this community. As a person who manages businesses in this community, I do not feel safe. I have been threatened. I look over my back when I walk out of the stores in the nighttime, because I know that there are piles of people sitting on the doorstep, usually intoxicated or whatever. I don't know what else they're doing, but it's just not safe. And we have customers who don't feel safe to come to our facilities. These are public places. Like, people should be allowed and should be able to roam and feel safe in this community, and they don't. And this thing has been talked about, this issue has been talked about for years and years and years and years, and it has progressively gotten worse. So I look to council, and I would like to see council develop an action plan. Tell me what that action plan is. What are you guys gonna do to help? I mean, as Mimi said, I'd love to help be part of a solution. What can we do? Tell me what we can do. As most people know, Woodward's is a huge employer in this community and supportive of this community. Tell us what we can do to help. What can we do? We would do it. But we want to know what council is going to do to create an action plan to fix this problem once and for all. So that's my ask today.
Yep. Thank you, Stephanie, and again, appreciate you coming in and sharing the information with us. We'll go to the third delegation, and I'll just summarize with some of the things that may answer some of your question there. Yep. If you just state your name, welcome to council chambers.
Well, unfortunately, I can't say ditto as well. My name is Melaine Walsh. I am manager at Scotiabank. Although not technically representing Scotiabank today, I am here as same as Meanie and Stephanie. You know, I'm in a different part of the town. I have the same situation going on. I've got clients that as soon as they pull into the driveway or the parking lot, you've got people running up to them, you know, knocking on their door, on their windows, looking for whatever, which, Mr. Bennett, you can certainly attest to. You know, we've had people sleeping in our vestibule. We've had people who won't go to the ATM because they're afraid to go in because there's somebody in there. We've had to update our vestibule so that the lights can't be turned off and the heat can't be turned up because we had people sleeping in there all winter long. We don't use the back parking lot because we are afraid to go out in the evening after we get off work because it's fenced on both sides now, and there's a little spot behind our parking lot that is a hangout. And at any given time, you could have 10 or 15 people come up over the bank while you're coming out to get in your car. Which, you know what? They may be as calm and nice as pie, but it's very intimidating when you're a lone female going out into a darkened parking lot in the middle of, you know, in the evening, and you've got people coming up who are, hey lady, I need, you know, give me some money, da da da, and if you don't, you're a racist. You know, again, with the other ladies, willing to help in any way possible, but something has to be done. You know, unfortunately, our constable and the RCMP are overrun all the time, and it's not something that they can do. They need help. And I'm sure there's plenty of people in the community who would be willing to help, lots of business owners. You know, I spoke to one of the business owners that I deal with today, who said that they have staff cleaning blood, have people fighting in their vestibules, in their lobby, clean bottles, booze bottles and blood from their washrooms. You know, somebody working in a fast food store shouldn't have to be cleaning blood and feces and whatnot in their job. That's not what they're paid to do, right? So again, you know, I just wanted to put my voice in here as well. Essentially, it's 3 parts of town. You've got Uptown, you've got Midtown, now you've got Lower Valley. You know, it's not a one spot in town issue, it's everywhere. So, you know, again, I just wanted to put my voice forward and say, you know, again, willing to help. I don't know what the answers are, but absolutely would love to see something happen and would absolutely be willing to help. So thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. So there is an action team that is working, I guess, towards this issue. One of the common denominators that I've been hearing over the last little while is the education piece of what this action team is actually doing or what the plans are, and that's not being communicated obviously very well. We've had 3 speakers, delegations here this evening that represent, you know, businesses in town, and you know, so our community sitting around our council table, it's very difficult because we can't solve this problem as a community. As a town council, we can't solve this by ourselves. We just don't have the expertise. So this action team that represents a large part of you know, government services, indigenous groups, other community services supports, for instance, you know, the women's shelter, the homeless hub, and things like that. So we're all working towards that goal. The thing is that I think we're at a point now where the community is speaking up, and I can't say thank you enough from the 3 of you to bring that issue at the podium. And I know it's difficult, but we are at a point where we really need to have some tangible action taken. The introduction of the hand sanitizer and things like that within this same problem is causing us a bunch of other problems. So rest assured, we had a meeting here briefly before council, and we've been, you know, part of the action team. Our constable sits on that, and previous we had a staff member who sits on the action team. So we have been engaged. We're, you know, like I say, we're part of that mix and part of that player, but I think the action team needs to really start the education piece in terms of what is being done and advertise that to the community, because something has to be done. And we're at that point now. So again, if you have a written presentation that you had, if you want to present it to or send it to our CAO, that would be great. We are going to be taking a different stance here in the next few days, and the week after next, we are heading to meet with the Premier and other ministers. And rest assured, this is, you know, high on our list. This can't continue. I have people tell me that you know, it's difficult. They won't let their kids. I personally have some reservations about letting my daughter walk from my house, you know, to businesses in town, just solely on that issue, and it doesn't matter if it's day or night. So yeah, we'll be taking I guess a harder approach in terms of what we can do, especially in light of if you look at some statistics. Last month, for instance, the public intoxication numbers from our municipal enforcement officer was mid-80s. So far this month, we're double that, if not more. And that's just, we're still got another week to go. And we can see it, our community can see it, and enough's enough. So we have to get some help. We can't, you know, we only have one municipal enforcement officer, so we're not going to fix this alone with enforcement, but the protection and safety of businesses, homes, people, kids, everybody has to become a priority. And it is a priority with us sitting around the table. So I thank you for sharing. Any other delegations? No? We're good? All right. Thank you very much. You're more than welcome to continue to sit and enjoy the meeting, or if you wish, you can leave. It gets exciting sometimes. You can ask a question, sure. If you go to the microphone, because we're on, yeah.
I just have one question.
Yeah.
So this action plan that you speak of,
Yeah.
that is public information, so where is that?
So the action team is a result of a team that was put together back in 2017 of senior government officials. That transformed into what it is now, which is a group, I want to say probably 20-odd groups that represent, Newfoundland Labrador Housing, LG Health, the province, the indigenous groups.
Stakeholders.
And stakeholders that would be...
Is there business representation on that?
I'm not sure, because I can tell you that I, as mayor, have just been invited to sit on the action team as of last Friday.
Like,
But
we're a stakeholder.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's an important thing. My thing is that the information from that group needs to be, and not only from that group, the community needs to be consulted.
Yeah.
So I've made that known over the last couple of days, and that will be my message. And in that consultation process, one of the biggest impacts we're having right now, obviously, because we have 3 business people here representing their organizations, maybe it's time that, from a chamber perspective or however we can, but bring that element as well.
Yep.
And I'll bring that forward on our meeting when I meet with the action team. But it's a good, because you are being impacted just as greatly, if not more, than some residents and things.
We get the double whammy,
Absolutely.
right? I'm a citizen.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And I also manage businesses, so
Great idea.
double.
Yep. So thank you. Yep. All right. That's the end of delegations. So what I will do is move to the next agenda item, which is the adoption of the previous minutes. So we have the meeting from last month, but we also had 2 special meetings. So I'd like to I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes from the 14th council meeting that was held on April 26, 2022. So I get someone to move those. Moved by Councillor Duffett, seconded by Councillor Brumfield. Any discussion on those minutes? Any errors or omissions that you see or that we've had as they've been previously circulated? Okay, none being heard, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor indicate with aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Okay, we've accepted those minutes. Moving into the same thing for the 15th council meeting, which was held on May the 2nd, 2022. A motion to accept the minutes. Moved by Councillor Duffett, seconded by Councillor Rumbold. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor indicate with aye. Aye. Contrary minded?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, so the third meeting, which was the 16th minutes, council meeting on May 18th, 2022. Motion to accept those minutes made by Councillor Duffett again, seconded by Councillor Bennett that time. Discussion? All those in favor indicate with aye. Aye. Contrary minded? Okay, we've adopted the minutes for the 3 meetings. Moving into correspondence. I think there's only one piece, yeah. It's the Healthy Waters Labrador report, the 2021 report. That absolutely fantastic work they're doing down there, and I would like to thank them. They made a presentation, and as is the terms of our agreement, they provide us with an annual report. So we just got that, so it will be available in the minutes. I'm going to put an item under new business for that project. All right. Any other correspondence? No? We're good? We're good?
There was a report from the Municipal Assessment Agency
Okay.
that can be sent out separately.
Okay. Because we had something from aerial photography last week. Was that it?
Oh, yeah.
I think we did that last month. I think it was on.
No,
There was a report, I think, from MAA. But okay, no problem. So we can include it for next month's meeting. No problem. All right, so we'll move into committee reports now. I will turn the microphone over to the Deputy Mayor with Community Planning and Development.
Great, thank you. Community Planning and Development Committee met on Wednesday, May 11th, 2022. In attendance were Councillor Broomfield, Mark Urquhart, GIS Paul Zhao, Executive Assistant Kathy Eddy, and Town Engineer Randy Dillon, and myself. Regrets from those out of town were PR Waylon Williams, Councillor Duffett, CAO Nadine McCauley, and Mayor Andrews as ex officio. Meeting was called to order at 4:32 p.m. The previous agenda was accepted with no errors or omissions. Community development and research position is still vacant, and the continued efforts to fill this position are ongoing. Discussions were had on previously deferred Crown land use applications as well as current applications. We do have Crown land use recommendations to follow. The CPD meeting was adjourned at 5:45 p.m. and the next meeting will be held on June 15th, 2022 at 4:30. Please accept this as having the CPD Committee Report being read.
All right, thank you, Deputy Mayor. So it's moved by Deputy Mayor Wallace to accept the CPD Committee Report as presented. Seconded by Councillor Broomfield. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor indicate with aye. Aye. Contrary-minded? Okay, motion passed. All right, recommendations.
Alrighty, moving on to the recommendations. 157576 Joe Michelin dwelling. The CPD Committee recommends Council deny Crown Land Application 157576 for the following reason. A single dwelling residential residence is not permitted in a resources R zone.
Okay, so it's moved by Deputy Mayor Wallace that we deny the Crown Land Application 157576. Seconded by Councillor Duffett. Discussion? All those in favor indicate with aye. Aye.
Aye.
Contrary-minded? Okay, passed. Next item.
158807 Joe Michelin fence. The CPD Committee recommends Council have no objection to the Crown Land Application 158807 on the condition that future development complies with the town's development regulations.
All right, it's been moved by Deputy Mayor Wallace that we recommend no objection to application number 158807. Seconded by Councillor Duffett. Any discussion? None heard. All those in favor indicate with aye.
Aye.
Contrary-minded? Motion passed. Next item.
159247 Shukapesh Timber Laydown Area. The CPD Committee recommends Council have no objection to the Crown Land Application 159247 on the condition that future development complies with the town's development regulations.
Okay, it's moved by Deputy Mayor Wallace that the committee recommends the Crown Lands Application 159247. Seconded by Councillor Duffett. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate with aye.
Aye.
Contrary-minded? Recommendations passed. Next item.
Thank you. Lastly, we have 159387 Healthy Waters Labrador Viewing Deck. The CPD Committee recommends Council have no objection on the Crown Land Application 159387 with the following condition: compliance with all the town's development regulations.
All right, so it's moved by Deputy Mayor Wallace. The committee recommends the Crown Lands Application 159387 with the condition that it apply with the town's development regulations. Seconded by Councillor Bennett. Any discussion? All right, none heard. All those in favor indicate with aye.
Aye. Aye.
Contrary-minded? Recommendation is accepted. All right, so that's the CPD, CPD Committee. We'll move into the Community Services and Recreation and Councillor Winters.
I'm going to be
Okay, you're going to do it? All right, Deputy Mayor Wallace, we'll take from Councillor Winters.
Thank you very much. The CSR Committee was scheduled, we met on May 9th, 2022 at 4:30 p.m. Delegation we had a presentation by Healthy Waters. Delegation from Healthy Waters gave a report on activities and work done to date and moving forward. CSR Committee is looking forward to working with Healthy Waters to continue to expand on the terrific work Healthy Waters has done and plans for the future. Meeting was called to order at 5:10 p.m. In attendance, Committee Chair Councillor Winters, Deputy Mayor Ella Wallace, ex officio Mayor Andrews, CAO Nadine McCauley, Engineer Randy Dillon, Program Coordinator Ann Morris, and PR Manager Waylon Williams, and Executive Assistant Kathy Eddy. Regrets, Councillor Duffett. Review of previous minutes, no errors or omissions. Discussion on new business, we had a Safe Alliance Pride Week discussion. Plans are being made regarding use of town's facilities and town's involvement. Summer recreation program was discussed and will be tasked to the new CSR director when he reports to work on May 30th, 2022. Discussion regarding MMC use of arena for preparation for canceled 2021 school sport NL provincials, and there were no recommendations at all. Manager's report, CSR position is vacant at the time of the meeting. The acting manager gave an update on the facility usage to date. Next meeting is scheduled for June 13th, 2022 at 4:30 p.m. Meeting adjourned at 6:25. All good?
Good. Okay, so it's moved by Deputy Mayor Wallace that we accept the CSR, our Community Services and Recreation Report, as is presented, seconded by Councillor Brumfield. Discussion? I just would like to say that I'm very pleased to see us with a new director in that department coming forward, and look forward to some good stuff. Any further discussion? All those in favor indicate with aye. Aye. Contrary-minded? Okay, recommendations are, report is accepted. Move into the next agenda item now, Finance, Admin, and Policy, and Councillor Brumfield, the floor is yours.
Financial Administration and Policy Committee meeting met on May the 16th at 4:30 p.m. Present was myself and the chair, Councillor Bennett, Councillor Rumble, and ex officio Mayor Andrews. The staff present were Chief Administrative Officer Nadine McCauley, Director of Financial Operations Mike Dolmont, Executive Assistant Kathy Eddy, Superintendent of Assessment and Taxation Kelsey Campagna, Public Relations Waylon Williams. We had a presentation from the Amherst Golf and Sports Club. Basically, it was their 50th anniversary last year, and they did a presentation outlining their history, what they've done to date, renovations they've recently done, and their future plans and their financial statements. They lasted about almost a full hour, actually. It was a good meeting, and they did have a request in it, but it was not denied, it was deferred until we get a chance to review it. So that lasted from 4:30 until approximately 5:25, and then the regular meeting commenced at 5:26. So at 5:26, basically, we reviewed the previous minutes, discussed some action items for updates, and there was no errors or omissions noted. So then we moved on to the new business, and give you an update. Our 2022 town taxes were sent out in April. Our discount date ended on April the 28th, so next month hopefully we'll get a report to find out how many people are taking advantage of this one. Other item we discussed was a tax exemption request, and there was a presentation from the Amherst Golf and Sports Club, which was deferred until we get a chance to review what they're requesting. We had 2 youth travel assistance that were deferred from the previous month, and they're still deferred now because we're in the process of reviewing our policy, updating it. We had a verbal update from the audit for 2018, and for the most part, the audit is almost all done. Hopefully next month, this time, we'll be able to do have that full for 2018 presented to the council for approval. And then we had all the managers' department reports reviewed and attached. We had a report from the Supervisor of Assessment and Taxation, which really outlines our donations to date, our low-income reductions or applications to date, and the taxes that have been basically exempted. We had a DFO report, which is our Director of Financial Operations, which is basically reporting our accounts receivable, our billings, and managerial or department reports showing how much money they spent on budget. And then we had the PR and special events report from Will and Williams, and that provided basically stats on reviews and visits from the various people in the town. And we have no recommendations this month, and the meeting adjourned at 6:07. And the next meeting is still tentatively scheduled for June the 15th right now. And that's the Financial Administration Committee, Policy Committee meeting report for this month.
All right. So it's moved by Councillor Brumfield that we accept the Financial and Policy Committee report as presented. Seconded by Councillor Rumble. Any discussion? No discussion? Okay, all those in favor indicate with aye. Aye. Contrary-minded?
Aye.
The report is presented. I'd just like to welcome our new SAP, because I walked in the office the other day and didn't recognize a face. I was out of town, so Kelsey Campagna. It's nice to have her in that role, and it's nice to see all the empty spots being filled with good folks. All right, we'll move next into Municipal Services, and Councillor Bennett, the floor is yours.
Mr. Mayor. Municipal Services Committee met Tuesday, May the 10th, 4:30 p.m. Present was Councillor Denise Rumble, Councillor Todd Winters, CAO Nadine McCauley, Town Engineer Randy Dillon, Superintendent of Water and Sewer Keith Pye, Superintendent of Public Works DJ Elliott, Executive Assistant Kathy Eddy, and myself. Regrets from the Mayor George Andrews, ex officio. Meeting was called to order at 4:32 p.m. Reviewed previous minutes and action items, no errors or omissions. Managers report Public Works. Crews are transitioning from winter to spring duties, doing all their work that's needing to be done. Road sweeping started. Spring cleanup is scheduled to start the week of May 24th. That's where the people go and clean this around, pick up the litter and stuff like that. The actual bulk starts mid-June, early to mid-June, for people to put out their stuff to get in the yards and stuff like that. One thing I would like to say about that is if anybody got anything too good to throw away items, they could put them on the side of the road and put a sign on them, because sometimes people gets frustrated with too much stuff kicking around sometimes, and is too good to throw away, put it out by the side of the road, put a sign on it, and she's gone. Complaints report was attached, and superintendent advised most of the items have been resolved or addressed. Water and sewer manager's report was included also. Everything seems to be on par, no issues at the reservoirs. Services to all the hydrant extensions and stuff like that is ongoing. Johnny Hill Booster is ongoing. And work plan for the air release chamber on Montagnus Road is on the go. Engineering reports, everything seems to be on par. They're working on the surface drainage study, on the proposal. The draft for the intersections traffic study has been received and reviewed, and the consultant from the company made a presentation to the council, which was very informative. We thank him for that. Town hall upgrades have started. Discussion and new business. We had a letter come in from a lady on the dogway stations, wanting them put in various locations around town. Committee agreed that there are already trash cans in many different locations in town that can be used as pet waste. Once they all gets out, the crews gets them all out. You'll see them around, so you can use them. Don't forget to carry your doggy bags. The town will be putting out a PR campaign reminding residents to be responsible pet owners and clean up after their pets, and utilize the trash cans that are placed throughout the town. A letter has been sent to response. Residential lawn sweeping policy is attached. Should I read that now? Okay. Recommendations. After. Okay. Date of next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, June 14th at 4:30 p.m. We adjourned the meeting at 5:56, and we have one recommendation.
Wonderful, thank you, Councillor Bennett. So it's moved that we accept the Municipal Services report as presented by Councillor Bennett, seconded by Councillor Rumbold. Any discussion? All right, I've got a couple of questions, but I'm going to ask them in my form about stuff. So, yep, so all those in favour of the report indicate with aye.
Aye.
Aye. Contrary minded? We've accepted the report. Just for Councillor Winters on the phone, it's difficult to hear you with the voting. So if you could, I've heard you a couple of times, but I don't know if it's because we're speaking that it cuts the vox off on the call. So we'll wait for you to indicate your vote as well, Councillor Winters.
Excuse me, I didn't hear the question.
Yeah, no, just that there's someone had inboxed the PR director to say that they couldn't hear your votes. So we'll wait. We'll listen for you when we vote. So all those in favour again indicate with aye. Aye.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Contrary minded? All right, so we've accepted the Municipal Services report. Moving down the agenda, Protective Services and Councillor Duffett. I'm sorry. Yes, recommendation. I apologize, sir. There's a recommendation from Municipal Services. Yep.
Okay. Residential commercial lawn sweeping. Policy statement. There is significant buildup of sand. There is a significant buildup of sand on residential commercial properties because of road snow clearing operations conducted by the town. The intent of this initiative is to subsidize owners for a portion of the cost of the rental of a lawn sweeper or employment of a contractor to remove sand that has been deposited on a residential commercial property through the town operations. Removal and disposal of sand will be the responsibility of the property owner. The maximum subsidy will be $50 per calendar year. Credits will be, read it all?
Yep.
Credits will be issued to the owner of the registered participating businesses operating in the town, and payment to these businesses will be made on a monthly basis upon the submission of invoices. Property owners should be cognizant of the potential impact of noise, dust, and debris on neighboring properties, and that all sand removal should be in accordance within the town's development regulations.
Okay, so it's recommended that we.
Sorry.
Yep.
To make a
He needs to
motion.
read his motion now.
Okay.
Where do I see that?
I was going to take that as
Oh,
his
sorry.
motion. I'm sorry.
Residential commercial lawn sweeping policy. The Municipal Services Committee recommends council adopt policy PW0043, residential commercial lawn sweeping.
So it's moved by Councillor Bennett. I was going to take that as his motion. So you've made it official again now. So moved by Councillor Bennett that we accept the new policy for residential and commercial lawn sweeping. Seconded by Councillor Rumbold. Discussion. Councillor Brumfield.
My concern with this is not really a concern or a comment, I guess. Your first point there, you state that basically all the snow clearing was conducted by the town and operated by the town during the winter snow clearing operations. But Hamilton River Road is cleared by the provincial government, not the town. There's a significant amount of sand on Hamilton River Road buildup as well. My concern is that we're paying the subsidy of $50 per property, let's say, registered, and then we're going to be basically paying the business directly. But how are we going to manage this? Like, someone could be coming in double dipping and putting in, say the resident put in the claim and they turn around and pay it themselves. Like, we got to have some kind of mechanism in place to make sure there is some controls in place.
Well, I would assume that the office staff here I think the intent of this policy was that a number of years ago, council purchased 4 big sweepers. It's nice, I guess, but in actual fact, even if we took 4 people, 4 physical summer students or laborers or whatever, 4 of our employees, and put them to task, I think the figure was we did 22 or 24 properties that were affected, so we could really only do those ones that were tremendously affected, i.e. by an intersection or around turns and that stuff. So really, for the cost and the benefit, it was really not efficient. So from the perspective of now, I think this idea, and you know, and then you would have to wait as well. So until somebody got around, it would tie up heavy equipment operators to move the sweepers around. So I mean, you know, just from an operational efficiency perspective, probably not ideal. Whereas this way, someone, you know, a couple of neighbors can get together and rent the sweeper. They can do their driveways really when they want, or lawns, sorry, do their, you know, rest of their property. And we recognize the fact that, you know, some of the property that they clear, maybe their driveways or whatever, then we'll contribute a portion of the cost of that rental. So, you know, it really becomes more efficient. We were expending, you know, a larger amount of money with very, you know, efficient, very low benefit, whereas now residents can choose to call up and get their sweeper and do their lawn or do their property when they want, as opposed to being on our schedule. So I mean, it's an opportunity for that to go. I would assume that you know, from within the management side, financial side, that invoices as other invoices, you know, whether it's to a gas station or to wherever, for products that we buy, would be controlled in terms of, you know, not having the same name and not having the same addresses and stuff paid multiple times, right? So that, I don't know what mechanisms is put behind, but I personally think it's a better bang from our perspective, a better spend money, and a more efficient opportunity for folks to get the sand off their lawns. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Yep. Deputy Mayor Wallace?
Continue.
Just Deputy Mayor Wallace.
Okay. So is this accessible to everybody? It's not just corner lots? Everybody can access this?
Yep.
Property
So
owners.
potentially we could have every property owner in town doing this?
That would have that problem.
Okay.
Councilor Martin, continue.
Well, I was going to mention the same thing what Deputy Mayor just mentioned, but my other comment is about 3 or 4 years ago, if not a little bit longer, the provincial government started using salt on that main road, Hamilton River Road. People are not getting reimbursed for having their vehicles rusting out now. I really don't think we should be getting into clearing the lawns. I would say.
We're not getting in
Any-
the fair
Councillor
lawns,
Bennett.
Councillor Brumfield. The citizens of the community can access $50 to clear their own lawn. We're not into clearing the lawn business anymore.
But I mean, it's like Deputy Mayor just asked.
I was
Is this one for
confirming.
the corner lots or all the lots? Because
Well-
it's for all the lots in town. There's over 2,700 lots in this
If
town.
history is going to repeat itself, we had 4 employees with thousands of dollars worth of equipment working day and night. Did we done 22 yards? I think have a go at it and see how it's going to work out.
Councillor Duffett.
So I guess also to reiterate somewhat what Hayward's saying, the process of this, is it you know, a receipt gets brought in after renting, or is it we're going off of word, I'm going to do it? What's the process?
I'll
there?
turn to the CAO. Have you discussed that with DFO?
So, per the policy, the residents will go to a registered business within town, rent a sweeper. The business would record their names and submit a monthly invoice to the town to subsidize for the payment. So if the sweeper costs $75, they would charge the resident $25 and submit an invoice to the town for $50.
Got her?
Thank you.
Thank you. Yep. Deputy
So
Mayor
the
Wallace.
max, if there was, how many, 2,700
Over
residents?
2,700.
So it's like $13,500.
Right, which
And
is
it's probably less than what
which
we were
is
using.
way
staff.
cheaper than the operation, the time consumed, because it has to be trailered. It's a huge machine. The heavy equipment shop would have to have their driver, trailer, load the machine, I guess, the laborers that we would have. Like I say, the operational efficiency alone in this I think we could then take those laborers and reallocate or repurpose their work that day. So they, 22 lawns over the summer, or 28, whatever it wasn't a very large amount. Really is not a lot. So the work that those laborers would be doing in just that alone for weeks, apparently, would be repurposed in something else, whether water, sewer, or whatever. So, like I say, that's 2,700 households. That includes the apartments and, things that, and some places that don't have lawns and things, right? So I personally think, I'll support this just from an operational efficiency and from people being able to get it done when they need to. Councillor Rumble.
Mayor, just to go into a little bit of what we did discuss in our review at our Municipal Services meeting and in coming up with this policy, because we had some debate back and forth, because we have to make it work. And like Councillor Bennett said, it's about maximizing our resources and not expending town resources. A lot of the time people are more than happy to do the work themselves. So as our CAO pointed out, it's registered participating businesses within the town. So there are guidelines. I'm somebody who's lucky enough, I'm fortunate enough that I'm in the middle of a road. I don't get that corner. Our lawn is good to go. I don't need to avail of this. But I definitely know of residents who do. And so I think that it's not going to be, 2,700 is a large number, and there's going to be a good many who are like me, who are fortunate enough not to have an abundance of sand. But the thought of giving that credit to those people, and we discussed, the reason we said registered businesses, I think a lot of it was we discussed there are people who are not physically able to do it themselves. So Councillor Duffett may be able to go to a business and rent a sweeper and spend a beautiful Saturday afternoon clearing off her own lawn. And we may have a senior resident or somebody with a disability who has to contract somebody to do it. So as long as that business is registered with the town of Valley-Goose Bay, a registered lawn sweeping business, then they can get that and get that $50 reimbursement. So I think it's going to reach such a big variety of people who really want to beautify their properties, and maximizing our resources, as Councillor Bennett pointed out. I think it's a win-win for us.
Yeah, I agree. Any other discussion?
I'll just, one more fine comment.
Okay, Councillor Brumfield.
First thing is that, yes, we do have the sweepers from the town, but they're not lawn sweepers. They're sweeping the sidewalks, sweeping the parking lots. They're big, heavy equipment. They were never designed for doing lawn sweeping, for starters. But, I think the option is that if you also drive around in the fall, you'll notice it more. You'll see people putting a tarp on at the end of the lawns, right? That's an option. It's not costing them nothing, really. It's just a bit of time to do it. It was a lot easier and more convenient. This year was my first year I ever did it. But as well, I think this year is open to abuse. Because before this council, the previous council, I know I've seen it firsthand myself that we were basically sweeping someone's driveway for the whole council.
Which won't happen now.
Yeah.
Because so if somebody wants to get a machine and they happen to do their lawn and do their driveway, etc., then part of the cost is borne by the thing. And it's personal choice. If somebody wants to continue with a tarp process, continue with a tarp process if that's what works. But again, a senior or someone who doesn't have the luxury, or unfortunately when you live on the corners and there's a lot of sand, or if you live in the intersections where, it's just one of the unfortunate, I guess, things of snow clearing. We use sand and it has to go somewhere. So it's a double-edged sword. If we don't use sand, the roads aren't good. If we use too much sand, then it's on our lawns. So like I say, it's a personal choice. I just think that this is a better use of the maximum of like $13,000, that if everybody did it, and that's going to be curbed because a lot of businesses will only have so many sweepers, and so many companies can only. But if you look at this ability here from a contractor who does that work, that contractor can probably do 100 lawns in the summer or over the spring. So, like I say, from our cost of and an operational benefit, I think is a win-win. So is there anybody else has anything else before I call for the vote? Deputy
Just
Mayor Wallace?
quickly, I just think it's a wonderful initiative just to beautify the area. If someone wants to beautify their lawn or to their garden and have it an affordable $50 incentive, that's got to help.
Yep, good. All right, so with nothing else heard, I'll call for a vote. It has been moved and seconded. So all those in favor indicate with aye. Aye. Contrary minded?
Aye.
Okay. Did you want to record it that you voted against?
What's that?
You want to record it you voted against? Can the record show that Councillor Brumfield is not in support of the recommendation? All right, so motion is passed. All right. Before we go on, I just want to, and I wasn't on my phone, I'm just bringing up the notes. Last week, I attended, or just the weekend before, I attended a Municipalities Newfoundland and Labrador symposium in Gander. I'm a firm believer in terms of, you know, if you're going on trips, we should see reports and that stuff. So I just want to give an update. One of the important things, I can't express enough the sentiment around this canoe procurement. It's an opportunity for us to save money, and it has no impact on local businesses. So if we could buy, for instance, office supplies or anything from a pencil to a tractor to a fire truck, etc., if we would arrange that purchase through a particular local company, there's no impact, but there's savings. So, you know, I heard $25,000 savings on fire trucks and tires, everything. So I'd encourage staff, and I sent that around as a result of the M&L note that the CAO sent out. But the other thing about asset management, it is going to be critical as we're going to deal with it later, because the new gas tax funding, the previous gas tax funding that will run out next year, the agreement was you had to have a community sustainability plan. This one is probably going to be geared around, you're going to have a community asset management plan, which controls the assets and state and when you repair them, when you replace them, that kind of stuff. So that was important. So that was good. Attended a couple of sessions. The transit, public transit session that I attended was really good. M&L is now going to start, the previous transit agreement was only for the big cities, for St. John's and Corner Brook, because at the time the province didn't see any transit solutions outside. So now M&L is starting to say, yeah, you know, we're looking at a potential. There's a, you know, a rideshare thing in, or a van in Lab City. There's a, they're looking at Stephenville and other communities. So they're going to start advocating and pushing it forward to for the provincial government to sign the federal additional funds for that. So that's exciting. The highlight for me was I did attend a flood management or flood mapping, but it was more for floods from water dams that communities have. The highlight for me was the guest speaker was Chief Miso Joe, and it was absolutely fantastic. And if you ever get a chance to be in a session where he speaks, absolutely take that advantage. The gas tax funding is being renamed to the Community Building Fund, and of course it's going to be, I think it runs out in March 31st, 2023, but it will be replaced, they're saying, with another plan. So that's pretty well it. The other thing we're going to talk about is the master management plan after anyway. So that's it from me on the symposium.
Did you forget about me?
The additional recommendation? Oh, I did too. Well, I'm very sorry. I see her looking at me. I said, oh, she's really interested. The last committee report is Protective Services. And I see Constable Baker in the back, like, what's going on? Floor is yours, Councillor Duff. I apologize.
Last but not least.
No.
Protective Services meeting was held on May 16th, started at 12:05 p.m. In attendance was myself, Councillor Winters, Councillor Brumfield, CAO Nadine McCauley, Constable Baker, EA Kathy Eddy, Mayor George Andrews, and regrets from Protective Services Director Brad Butler. Discussion surrounded the monthly policing reports as noted earlier after the delegations. The municipal enforcement officer is working with property owners that are not conforming with property standards. We discussed the process for when animal control complaints are called in, and that was clarified for us. The bike rodeo is under works, and a reminder about the new helmet laws that are in place provincially. Recommendations regarding the mutual aid agreement are to follow. The meeting was adjourned at 1:18 p.m. and the next meeting is June 16th at noon. Please accept this as my report is being read for me.
Thank you, Councillor Duff, and I apologize again. So it's moved by Councillor Duff that we accept the Protective Services Committee report as presented, seconded by Councillor Brumfield. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favour indicate with aye. Aye.
Aye.
Contrary-minded? Okay, we've now accepted her report.
I apologize, I've forgotten one. There's one that's missed for the community planning.
Just one second. We'll finish her
Oh,
report.
goodness, yes.
Yeah.
We're all over shot.
Yeah, so I'm staying with her for right now. All right, the Protective Services has a recommendation, and I'm going to recognize first before you start. I'm going to recognize Councillor Rumbold.
Thank you, Mayor. Just in the interest of clarity, before we proceed with the voting on Councillor Duffett's recommendation, the recommendation is in regards to the mutual agreement, and I do have an immediate family member. My son is both a volunteer firefighter with the town of Happy Valley-Goose Bay and an employee of Serco's firefighting department on the base. So I just would like for council to, I guess, determine whether or not that would put me in a conflict.
All right, so the Councillor Rumbold's indicated that she wishes council review the matter to see if she is in conflict to make a decision. So I will ask you to vacate the chamber.
Thank you.
And we will have that discussion when she's... All right, so just have the record note that Councillor Rumbold has left the chamber. So she's asked us to decide if she is in conflict in this regard. Again, conflict is defined, I think, from a monetary perspective. The nature of this agreement is basically from a town relationship with the base, and step in if I'm not explaining it correctly. So really there is no financial gain for anybody involved. It's not a contract, it's not a physical, it's an agreement where one fire service would assist when required or requested another fire source, and if you read the document, it just sets some outlines of possibly when and where and what would be in terms of training and things like that. So really there's no financial thing outside of the fact that if a piece of equipment gets damaged or broken, that they would be replaced. So from her perspective, I mean, we can have a discussion. I don't see any benefit financially here from anybody in that regard. So I personally don't think that she's in conflict. So we'll open it to the floor.
Nor do I.
No, I think you covered it.
Okay, Councillor Bennett,
Okay,
you good?
All
Good.
good.
Councillor
She's
Brumfield?
not no conflict.
Okay, so can I get a motion from someone then to declare that? Councillor Brumfield?
I move that we declare Councillor Rumbold not in a conflict of interest over the mutual aid firefighting agreement.
Okay, thank you. So moved by Councillor Brumfield that Councillor Rumbold is indeed not in conflict. Seconded by Councillor Duffett. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favour indicate with aye.
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 I apologize, I keep hitting the thing. Contrary-minded? Okay, motion is passed. Could you ask her to come back in, please? Thank you. That's a lonely walk sometimes. All right, Councillor Rumbold, Council has discussed it, and the motion has been passed that you are not in conflict in this issue. All right, so now I will turn the floor back over to Councillor Duffett to finish her report.
Thank you. Mutual aid firefighting agreement. The Protective Services Committee recommends council adopt a mutual aid firefighting agreement between Five Wing Goose Bay and the town of Happy Valley-Goose Bay.
Okay, it's been moved by Councillor Duffett that we accept the mutual aid agreement between the wing and our fire department. Any seconder, please? Seconded by Councillor Bennett. Discussion? I just want to say that this is a lot of work and been a long time in the making, and I want to say thank you very much and the consideration, the work that's been done both on the wing from the wing commander and as well from his staff and as well from our director Brad and his staff. So it's great and it's good, and I will be supporting. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favour in accepting the mutual aid agreement, please indicate with aye. Aye. Contrary-minded? Okay, so that's good news, actually. Really good news. We've accepted the mutual aid agreement. Now I'm going to turn the floor back to a policy or a recommendation from your committee?
There's an
Okay.
additional recommendation, you're
All
right,
right.
from the
Deputy Mayor.
CPD Committee. The Asset Management Plan, be it resolved that the Town Council of Happy Valley-Goose Bay directs staff to apply for a grant opportunity from the Federation of Canadian Municipalities Municipal Asset Management Program for the development of an asset management plan and associated activities. Be it therefore resolved that the Town Council of Happy Valley-Goose Bay commits to conducting the following activities in its proposed project to advance our asset management program. To develop an asset management plan, data collection and reporting, for example, inventory of existing assets, data collection to establish and track levels of service, long-term financial modeling to support asset management decisions, asset management training for employees. Be it resolved that the Town of Happy Valley-Goose Bay commits $10,000 from its budget towards the cost of this initiative.
Okay, so it's been moved by Deputy Mayor Wallace that we accept the committee recommendation to enter into, I guess, the first stages of an asset management plan and the contribution of $10,000 from our budget. Seconded by Councillor Bennett. Any discussion? Okay, none being heard. All those in favor?
I have a quick
Yep,
question.
gotcha there. Councillor Duffett.
Yeah, thank you. It's just worded a little confusing. So we're applying, are we motioning to apply for a grant, or are we motioning to commit $10,000 to the budget? What is happening?
We're committing $10,000 to apply for a grant that provides, is it 90?
The plan, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we have to put up the $10,000
Yeah.
to apply. Okay,
Mhm.
thank you.
So, just a quick one. So there's a lot of communities that have this done. The Federation, or sorry, the municipalities Newfoundland and Labrador is working with Track Consulting. They've partnered to help and assist communities in their asset management development. So from that perspective, the Federation of Canadian Municipalities is offering up till the end of this next year, I guess, the money at a 90-10 ratio based on our population. If we had less population, it would be 100%. But I think it's at 90-10. So it's a huge start, you know, so if it costs us, you know, a maximum of 10, we can get, you know, a fairly detailed plan. One of the things with the asset management plan, it takes a lot of the political, I guess, issues out of when you're budgeting. So if you have a fire truck that you bought 25 years ago, and it's in the asset management plan that it needs to be life cycle replaced, it's replaced. There's no discussion. So eventually you have everything from streets to major assets to whatever on the list, and when you do your budgeting, it's easy to pick them off. So, you know, things don't get overlooked and that kind of deal. So when you buy a new something today, we buy a new truck, it goes on an asset management plan, and it already has a rescheduled date to be replaced. So it works out really good that way, and it has been successful. But it's going to be a keystone for future grants from what was the gas tax money. So when we can get it paid for, let's jump at that money. Free money is good. Did you have your hand up, Councillor Bennett?
Pardon me?
Did you have your hand up, or were you just...
No, sir.
Okay.
I probably did, but I didn't mean to put it on.
Okay, any further discussion? All right, none heard. All those in favor of the asset management plan recommendation indicate with aye. Aye. Contrary-minded? Okay, motion is passed. All right, so approval of checks. Councillor Brumfield?
I don't have them.
Oh, do we have them out for checks? Is it here, or is it just the checks? Oh, here we go. Councillor Brumfield, sorry, my friend. Okay, Councillor Brumfield.
Okay. Finance Administration and Policy Committee meeting, or recommends that the council approve checks totaling $1,438,479.63.
Okay, it's been moved by Finance Admin and Councillor Brumfield that we accept the approval of checks in the amount that he indicated. Although, seconded by? Seconded by Councillor Duffett. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate with aye. Aye. Contrary-minded? Okay, we've approved the checks. Councillors Forum, where do I start this week? Councillor Bennett.
There we are.
The microphone is yours, sir.
All mine. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Yep.
Just a couple of topics. Town clean up. I mentioned earlier, that the crews are gonna be around now cleaning up sides of streets and some back roads, and you know, just be very cognizant that they're out there, you know, for safety. I'm sure they'll be all wearing their safety vests, but you know, you gotta be careful, slow down a little bit, especially on Callan Drive areas and the long stretches and stuff like that. And in early to mid-June, of course, the bulk garbage cleanup starts, so get as much out there as you possibly can. And again, like I said earlier, if you got anything that's too good to dump, put it by the side of the road, call somebody who may need it. There's a few organizations around town like the Gaps who take stuff, you know, if you don't want it anymore, give them a call or reach out to somebody who may need it. And that would be about it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. And there is a Facebook page, I think this is new or used, Too Good to Dump, I think.
Too good to give away.
Too Good to Give Away or something, or Too Good, no, Too Good. Yeah, so there is a web Facebook page for that. Let's scoot over to the other end of the triangle here, and Councillor Rumbold.
Thank you, Mayor. Lots to say, lots to talk about. Starting off with thank you to the delegations who took the time to come here and speak to us this evening. I would encourage all residents to follow channels to submit letters if you have concerns to, this is a public forum. We are here to listen to our residents, to represent, and unfortunately, social media is a good thing in the way that it gets information out there, but it's not an official channel. And so I think sometimes the misconception is, oh, I reported something because I put it on social media. And although we know that that's how information travels, officially, when you want something documented, when you want to make sure that your concern is registered, there are channels, and we would greatly appreciate your correspondence coming to the town office in an official way so that we can keep track and log. But again, thank you so much to the people who took the time to be here this evening, because they represented a cross-section of our community, and it was valuable information that was presented. As Councillor Bennett said, cleanup time is on. We've got the folks wearing the vests, but we can all do our part, and we will continue to see, again, through social media, a lot of the time we see there are always a group of citizens who challenge each other and say, you know, get out and fill a bag of garbage, and I know the Trappers Running Club has always been a big supporter of that, where they challenge their runners to get out and fill a bag. And so, and I've already seen people saying, you know, I'd donate if somebody would, you know, take an initiative on. So I think we all owe our community the attention it deserves just to clean up around your own property, right? I mean, if you want to take that bag and go down the street, but just take pride in what we have. I think if we all show pride in our own properties, then I think that you set an example for others. And if a child sees me bend over and pick up a piece of garbage and they do the same, then that's great. I also wanted to acknowledge that it is grad season, and we have students at the College of the North Atlantic who are new graduates. We had a class of personal care attendants that I hear all of them were immediately snatched up and hired. So we've got our post-secondary graduates. The Mealy Mountain Collegiate High School has their prom grad. I think there's a safe grad committee in the works. All that's coming up next month. It's an exciting time. We've got kindergarten grads. I drive down streets now and I'm seeing the signs that say home of a 2022 graduate. So congratulations to everybody, whether you're graduating from kindergarten, high school, or post-secondary. The future is exciting, and you're all moving on to something different and bigger, and we are proud of the littlest to the biggest, and we encourage lifelong learning. And yeah, so it's a good time to celebrate that. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Rundle. Councillor Brumfield. We'll go that way.
I'd like to start out by welcoming MHA Perry Tripper here this evening.
It's going to do the same.
Wonder if he's going to have anything to say, but I guess not. Oh, okay. Well, welcome to our chambers. Okay, I'd also like to go in and mention the spring cleanup, which has really started May the 24th and is going on for the next 3 weeks. So put all your trash out by the roadside and they will pick it up. They do have limitations, though, all the same. They used to. I'm pretty sure they do now. It should be out on their website what they are. The other thing we do, another thing that's coming up next month, and that's National Cancer Survivors Month. And June the 5th is National Cancer Survivors Day. So everybody who's been fighting cancer, like myself and other people here, good luck to you all, and hopefully you can beat it all and continue on with your life and live a happy life. And I do believe, well, I know we got the Expo Labrador coming up, so I'd like to put that in everyone's ear. But I think we have the Labrador Soccer Cup coming up too, do we?
Mm-hmm. Next week, yep.
Yeah. So I'd like to welcome all the players here for that one as well, because I know a lot of people, there are some people who do come from outside the province for that actually. I have a nephew who does that. And that's really about it for me for this week. And thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councillor Duffett.
Thank you, Mayor. As Deputy Mayor had mentioned earlier in the CSR about the Safe Alliance, we're planning for our upcoming Pride Week in the summer. So if there are any folks out there, any 2S LGBTQ plus or allies who are interested in that, you can find the Safe Alliance on Facebook. And a little about the spring cleanup. I was out, I think it was before 7 a.m. walking my dog last Saturday, and there was a neighbor up the road out with her 2 kids, I think under the age of 6, and I had stopped, and she'd said, you know, they were out at the playground, and then before breakfast even, they wanted to go out and clean up the garbage around the neighborhood, and that was really cute. Yes. That was really nice to see. So it is contagious, and I would encourage everybody to do the same. Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor.
Hi.
Hey.
I have a few things. Congratulations to the organizing committee and the many volunteers of the Junior Lab Cup that was held over the weekend. The event took place at the E.J. Broomfield Arena and included over 400 children competing from Churchill Falls, Lab City, and our very own town, of course. This was the first Lab Cup since 2019, providing a fantastic competition and camaraderie amongst the teams involved. So thank you also to our town staff who kept the venue in tip-top shape over the duration of the tournament. They did a fantastic job. Congratulations goes out to MMC girls soccer team who competed in the AAA provincial tournament in St. Lawrence this past weekend. The tenacity and drive of this team is something else, particularly nothing short of amazing. The tournament was scheduled to take place last October, and an hour from arriving to the field to complete their first game, the entire tournament was canceled as a result of a COVID outbreak through the town of Marystown and St. Lawrence. So they went back out, fundraised again for the entire tournament again, without an outdoor field to train on, as Mealy Mountain was still covered in snow. Our girls trained after school at the arena, and they made it to the finals, and a well-deserved silver medal to these young ladies. Congratulations to the judo team. They represented our town. These athletes, they earned the opportunity to compete at nationals last week and competed with the best in the country representing Happy Valley-Goose Bay. You'll see Kinsman Park open for this season. New this year is the beautiful addition, I'm not sure if you've all seen, of a kindness tree. You paint a rock, you place it at the base of the tree, and you take a rock and spread some kindness. So this is just a beautiful initiative, and kudos to the organizer, Arlene Michelin, who took this on. So as you see, it's nice out. Now everyone's got a spring in their step, so definitely get your kiddies or ourselves painting rocks and passing the kindness throughout the community.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Yes, absolutely. I got invited to join the Facebook group for that by Ms. McLean, and yeah, that's incredible. And I think part of it is, you know, if you're just having a down and out sort of bummer kind of day, you can have a seat and over there, which is great. Yeah, so I also want to pass on congratulations to our teams. We live in an incredible community, incredible talented community. I had the opportunity to witness the National Powerlifting Championships in St. John's. We have some national level athletes with gold medals, silver medals, bronze medals, and even just to compete was good. The atmosphere was absolutely electric and crazy. I want to say thank you. I didn't get a chance because I was out of town to say thank you to Paul Zhao, who was our GIS technician, and he's no longer with us. So I'm hoping he might take an interest and be watching this evening, or listen to it. So I thank you for all the things he's done for us, which is great. Look forward to when Randy returns, getting some updates in terms of Kellen Drive, the deficiencies, getting them fixed up, getting the deficiencies fixed up at the Y, and getting the deficiencies, or an update on the water CBCL. I know I've spoken with some affected residents, and they did have some water alarms and things, so I'm looking forward to getting that project, and I hope that the contractor's on site. As we heard today, there is I guess a desperation in some people's voices in terms of dealing with the issues that we're dealing with in terms of transient situation and the homelessness situation. We've been working as hard as we can. I just think that we may need to push a little harder and start to see some results. But when I attend the meeting, a couple of things will come up. I think it's time that they start advertising or communicating with folks about what's happening with the group, and hopefully that will instill some hope in terms of what direction we're going in. I just want to send thank you to Waylon for the note that you sent out on the recycling and the cleanup week. Sorry, that was great. The repurposing and recycling, what Councillor Bennett had mentioned, is in there. So if you do have something that's too good to throw away or whatever, stick a sign on it. And I did see somebody had about 5 bikes put out beside the road. So yeah, that's good. Yep. Outside of that, I don't have anything else. So anything from you? Oh, sorry, Councillor Winters. Gosh, I'm in a bad bone here today. Do you have anything to bring before the council before I close the meeting?
Thank you for remembering me there. Yeah, just a couple of things. I'd like to thank the delegates that presented today on such an important topic. It takes great courage to get up in front of council to express your concerns, and believe me, we as a council are just one piece of many stakeholders, and we are doing our due diligence and contacting each of the provincial governments and the federal governments and all other stakeholders of trying to find a solution to the very difficult situation that we're in. And I got to commend the Municipal Enforcement Officer, Larry Baker, and the RCMP, who are very understaffed to deal with this issue. And that we are looking towards a solution, and we are working diligently towards that. And one other thing is that I'm excited for is Travis Ford getting involved and getting to work and improving our facilities and our programs with regards to the whole CSR department. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. And I will recognize the fact that next in I guess 10 days or so, we're heading to St. John's with a delegation from council. I want to recognize the efforts from the MHA in terms of his work in scheduling meetings with the Premier and other various ministers, as well with the CEO from Hydro and a couple of others that will fall in place. So I thank you for that. Outside of that, do you have anything, CAO? No? Okay, all right. Well, with that, nothing else heard. I will ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting. All right, moved by Councillor Duffett. We're adjourned.